Hello, and welcome once again to Yoga for Kids and Their Adults. My name is Tony. I'm here at Me Time LLC, a massage and yoga studio here in Troy, Alabama. This program is sponsored in part by the Charles Henderson Child Health Center. They are a pediatric physician and dental office helping children from birth to age 19. They fund this program through a grant that they received from the Children's Trust Fund, whose purpose is to prevent child abuse and neglect. So, welcome. You might have noticed I have a little prop with me. And this is really the only thing you might need. And you really don't even need it. You just need your imagination. Because I was watching a movie the other day, and I saw sword fighting. Yeah. And now if you don't happen to have a stick handy, no problem. Just on guard. And you'll notice this looks an awful lot like a yoga pose. And that got me thinking, what kind of fun things do we see in movies that we can relate back to yoga poses? So, if you have your area already cleared out, go ahead. You are ready. If not, go ahead and clear it out. Make sure that there's no furniture or people or elbows that you're going to be bumping into. If you have a stick or a pencil or a hanger or a marker or something that you would like to use as your prop, you're welcome to do that. Otherwise, again, no problem not having it. Just use your imagination. So if you are ready, make sure you have a nice, clear area. Your mind is at ease. You're going to focus on what you're doing now. So the movie I was watching, and you may have heard of this, is called The Princess Bride. And that is one of my favorite movies. And it's all about
fencing, fighting, torture, revenge, giants, monsters, chases, escapes, true love, miracles.
everything that's fun and adventurous in stories and movies and books. And I thought, well, maybe we can use this. So from that fencing position, it looks an awful lot like Warrior 2. Did you notice that? And what happens if you have someone fighting on the other side? Just turn it around. Let's see if you can get into your Warrior 2 pose. So we're going to start here at our base at mountain pose. Going to step out and out. Turn your left foot out to the side. Right foot, you might need to hop up and have it halfway between side and front. You're going to bend that front knee. Raise your rapier or your sword and lift up that back arm for balance. En garde. Can you do that? Say, en garde. There you go. Now, you might have seen in fights how they step forward and step back. And step back. Can you do that? Back foot first, forward foot, and then front foot first and back foot. Try that. Back foot first and forward. Front foot first and back. Wonderful. Let's try it on the other side. Put your imaginary sword in the other hand. And just like in my favorite movie, I am not left-handed. So this might look a little less graceful. So we get into our Warrior 2 pose. If you were in Warrior 2 this way, all you have to do really is turn your feet. And you're in the opposite direction. Bend that front knee now. And now, back foot forward. Front foot back. Let's do that one more time. Back foot forward. Front foot back. That's pretty good. You're an excellent swordsman.
You are wonderful.
Thank you.
And for this warrior 2, what do you think they used to fight with? Swords, arrows, and bows. That's another awesome posture. The bow pose. Now, this isn't necessarily the yoga bow pose, but it's definitely a fun to try pose. Can you try that? Straighten up your legs. Put your front arm out, make a fist. Put your back arm up where the string would be and pull it back. And then what sound does it make when you let loose your arrow? Thunk. Can you do that? Can you make that sound? Thunk. Excellent. Can we do this on the other side? Twist your feet. There we go. Front arm out, make a fist. Back arm forward, pull back your string. And now, what sound does it make? Thunk. Can you make that sound? Thunk. Very good. Now, this pose here is also very similar to a triangle pose. All right, so we've already seen Virabhadrasana or Warrior 2. To get into triangle pose, we're at our arrow pose. Stretch out your arms, level with the ground. Reach over that front leg, and when you can't reach anymore, bring that front hand to your leg and bring that back hand up to the sky and look at it. You're in triangle pose. Can you say that? Can you say triangle pose? Excellent. You might even feel a nice stretch here in your hamstrings. One more breath. And then we're going to kind of cartwheel back up, level our arms, turn our feet to the other way. Okay, here we are. Hands, palms facing forward, reach over that front leg. And when you can't reach anymore, drop that front leg down to the leg, back arm comes to the sky, and look at it. That's a wonderful stretch. Can you feel that stretch? That's amazing. And when you're ready, let's cartwheel back up, arms level with the ground. This time turn your toes forward, and let's bring our hands down to the ground, or at least as close as we can get to it. This is going to neutralize our spine from those twists and stretches that we just did in Warrior 2 and the triangle pose. When you're ready, breathe out, bend your knees, bring in your hips down into a nice little frog. Bring your hands up to heart center in prayer. Inhale, stretch up, bring your hands up overhead. Exhale, let your hands float down like leaves on the wind. My leaves have a little bit more wind, I guess. So, we have done warrior, which is a sword fighter. And we've done triangle, like a bow and arrow. What's another action-adventure posture that looks like a yoga pose? Well, how many times have you seen people drop something? And what do? Do they squat down to get it? No, they just bend forward to pick it up, right? So our forward fold is picking something up. Genius! Every activity you could probably link back to a yoga pose. So let's see, is there another one? Maybe you like stories about mermaids. Huh? Well, there's actually a mermaid posture. So come on down to the ground with me. Bring your legs out to one side and twist them around. You can use your hands to hold your body upright. And you're going to turn and look over that back shoulder. There's a nice long name for this. I believe it's Mariachasana. But it's easier to say mermaid pose. Kind of like you have this mermaid tail off to the side. You want to try it on the other side? Okay, so spin around. Bring your legs out to the other side. Bring them as close as you can. Put your hand down. Keep your torso upright. And look over that back arm. What's back there? If you're a mermaid, it might be the ocean. Hi, ocean. Can you say hi to the ocean? Maybe as a mer person, you might have some friends, like a fish or an octopus. Ooh, an octopus. I bet you can think of a posture that reminds you of an octopus. How about when you sit upright and put your arms and legs in front of you, like this? It's like an octopus shooting away, spraying its ink and going away. Can you do that? Can you sit upright? Bring your arms out in front of you, palms down, toes up, and shoot that ink and blow away, swimming away from anyone who might be trying to harm the octopus. That was a different movie. Anyone here ever see 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea? Maybe you've read the book, The Big Squid Shoots Away. Excellent. Well, what about if we go back to my favorite movie, which I hope you parents might understand and know, The Princess Bride. There was a scene where the two people were sitting back and forth having a test of wits. And they were sitting at a tree stump. Now, you can't sit with your legs out like this at a tree stump and get in the way, wouldn't it? So they had to sit in easy pose. Can you get to easy pose? For you kids out there, it's crisscross applesauce. Nice, easy pose. Sit upright, and you're ready for a battle of wits.
All right. Where is the poison? The battle of wits has begun.
Wonderful. Now, our hero in the story, his name is Wesley. He has to fight a giant. A giant? Now, is a giant this small sitting on the ground? No, no, no. They are huge, humongous, and giant. Hence the name giant. So let's stand up as big and tall as we can, like a giant. This, you might know it as extended mountain pose. I know it as the volcano pose. And we can make this our giant pose. We're gigantic. Arms straight up, hands flat like this, goes all the way up. Big giant pose. Now, if you were a giant, would you take itty bitty little steps? No, you'd take big booming steps. Can you do that? Can you kick your leg out and put it back on the ground? Big steps for this giant. Wonderful. And then we come back to Wesley, who's sword fighting for his love. And sword fighting for his love. Can you do that? Warrior 2 to your left. And then to your right. Fighting. And fighting. And of course, I'm not going to give away the end. It's a good movie to watch. It's a good book to read. If you have a reading family, that's a wonderful thing. And then there was the prince. Now, you've all seen shows or movies where there's a prince standing upright as tall as he can. His shoulders are down, his head is up, his chin is even up, his head is kind of looking at the sky. Well, this is an upright mountain pose. Not the giant pose, just the mountain pose. And we're going to modify it by bringing our chin up just a little bit. Can you do that? Mountain pose. That's your feet are under your hips. Your knees are bent, so they're over the arches in your feet. Your shoulders are over your hips. Your head is up, slightly upward. Arms straight down and extended. This is a tight pose. Prince pose. Or mountain pose. And relax. Go ahead and shake that out. I know you got a wiggle on you. Go ahead and get your wiggles out. To help you out, let's go ahead and bring our shoulders up to our ears. Backward behind us. Down below. And then back to forward. Let's go the opposite way. Down below. back behind us, and then up to our ears, and then shake them down. Can you shake them down? Wonderful. Now let's use our head here and bring our chin to our chest. Bring it over to your right side. Back to your back. Over to your left. Chin to the chest again. Let's go the other way. Bring your head to the left. Back to the back. Over to the right. Chin to chest. Ooh, slowly raise your head. And if you are ready, let's see if we can do a half moon pose. Yes, of course, all the greatest sword fight scenes in the movie happen by moonlight. But there's one that happens by daylight. So let's try that half moon pose. Now, if you're not really good at balancing, you can find a wall and stand in front of it, and that can be your helper. If you're fairly decent at balancing, you can still find a wall. Let's not make them feel bad, okay? All right, so you find your wall. You turn your right foot out to the side. Your left foot stays pointing to the front. You're going to step back with your left. Reach your arms out. Palms forward. And then reach and reach like you're going into triangle pose. And then you're going to push forward into your half moon pose. One more breath. And then go ahead and back it down. Drop that leg. And then cartwheel back up. And then you can shake out your hips. Because that really works your hip. Shake it out. I know you got the wiggles in you. Then we'll try it on the other side now. Okay? So our left foot goes out to the side. Right foot faces to the front. Arms are level to the ground. We're going to do that triangle pose. Reach and then bring your hand to your leg. Arm up. And then you're going to lean forward into your half moon pose. One more breath. And then drop that foot back. Back to triangle. Cartwheel back up. And then wiggle out your hips. Can you do that? Can you wiggle out your hips? Excellent. Now, inevitably, in every adventure story, someone is going through the woods. And The Princess Bride is no exception to this rule. In fact, our hero Wesley is hidden inside a tree. So, do we know a pose that looks like a tree? The tree pose, of course. So you're going to stand in your mountain pose. Remember, feet, your heels are under your hips. Your knees are bent so they're over the arches. Shoulders over the hips. Ears over the shoulders. Arms at your side. Now shift your weight over to the right. Lift your left leg. Turn the knee out. Put the bottom of your foot on the inside of your right leg. Now, if this is all the balance you have, that is fine. Now, if you want a little more challenge, bring your hands up to prayer at heart center. And if you wibble and wobble, that's okay. Remember that wall, it'll help you. Okay, so we have our nice little tree pose. And you can extend your tree all the way up. And this is a beautiful tree. Just imagine you're watching those swashbuckling rogues fight in front of you in your forest. Go home, be peaceful. There's no need to fight. One more breath. And then you're going to bring your hands back down to heart center. You're going to bring your knee in. Let your foot come to the floor. And then shake out your feet. Whew. That's a lot of work, isn't it? Okay. So if we did it to one side, we got to do it to the other. Got to even it out. Okay. So again, if you need help balancing, you find your wall. Find your mountain pose. Shift over to the left. Lift your right foot. Turn the knee out to the side. Bring your hands to prayer at heart center. And again, this is only if you have more balance than just this. If you're super wibbly, hold on to something. So you bring your hands to prayer at heart center and extend if you want a challenge. Here we go. You are a wonderful tree in the forest in somebody's legendary tale. One more breath, and you're going to bring your hands back down to heart center. Bring your knee forward. Put your foot on the floor, and then shake your feet and your hips out. Now, we've been doing all of these activities that come out of our movies. But at the end, there's always a nice calm spell, isn't there? So let's calm it down by coming down to our easy pose. Now, if you want to do like a half lotus or a lotus pose, you're free to do that, whatever you're comfortable with. I kind of prefer crisscross applesauce. Kind of works with my kids here. So go ahead and bring your hands up to your knee. And I'm going to show you a little hand yoga called a mudra. Okay? You're going to place your thumb on the inside of your ring finger, like that. This is the mudra to relax and let go of all that adventuring. So I do that with both hands and rest that on my knees. Can you do that? Excellent. If you're ready, go ahead and close your eyes and breathe in. Really fill your lungs and then breathe out. Let them all empty. Take a moment and tell yourself thank you. Thank you for moving about and exploring the wonderful yoga poses that can be inspired by movies that we love. And I hope you're able to find other poses in the movies and TV shows that you love. So I would like to thank you for joining me today. This has been a marvelous adventure, and I hope that you enjoy your sword fighting and your mountain climbing and your being a tree and being a moon and all the adventures you might have in your yoga. Go ahead and take a nice deep breath in and exhale. I hope you are at peace. Thank you for joining me. Again, my name is Tony Ridge. I'm here at Me Time LLC, a massage and yoga studio here in Troy, Alabama. This program is sponsored in part by the Charles Henderson Child Health Center. They are a pediatric physician and dentist office here in Troy, Alabama, taking care of children from birth to age 19. They fund this program through a grant that they receive from the Children's Trust Fund, whose purpose is to prevent child abuse and neglect. So even in the real world, you can still have adventures. I hope you have fun seeing them in your mind's eye and experiencing them here in the real world. But until then, relax, refresh, restore with yoga. Be kind to yourself and others, folks. Have a wonderful week. Namaste.